Hi, it's Dwyer, gamblersadvisory.com. The World Series starts in about an hour or so. Let's talk about a gambling play. I don't have any idea who wins this World Series, but I do have some idea on how I'm going to play it before Game 1. Before I go further, just remember the opinion you should follow should be your own. Just consider this video to be a second opinion from a complete stranger online. The series prop, not the prop for tonight's game, but the series prop, has the Texas Rangers a minus 155, bet 155 to win 100, against the Cardinals, who are a plus 130, bet 100 to win 130. Now understand those odds are going to change as the series goes along. If Texas wins Game 1, they're going to be much higher than a minus 155. Likewise, if the Cardinals win Game 1, they're going to drop from a plus 130 to even money, closer to even money, or even the favorite in the series. Now, what if I told you that you have a unique opportunity tonight, because if everything goes the way Vegas thinks it's going to go, then the Cardinals, who are favored in tonight's game, that's right, the plus 130 series underdog is favored in tonight's game. They have Chris Carpenter on the mound. I believe they're going off at a minus 120. If the favorites tonight, the Cardinals, win the game, then you might actually have an opportunity to take the Cardinals in the series prop at plus 130 and then be able to hedge it right after tonight's game. If the Cardinals go up 1-0, and if Texas drops below a minus 130, then if you were to bet the plus 130 on the Cardinals before the game starts, then should the Cardinals win tonight's game and you're able to get Texas at lower than a minus 130, you can then bet on Texas and lock in a profit before the second game of this World Series is even played. Let me just make the case for the Cardinals at plus 130 and why I think that's a bet that should be made before the first game is played. Let me point out, too, that this is highly speculative, has risk, is just playing numbers, not events, right? If the Cardinals lose tonight, then you can imagine you're probably going to get them at significantly better than plus 130 going forward. It'll be up to you regarding the risk-reward and how to play that. The Cardinals are red hot. They're the team that won fewer games in the regular season. But understand, an argument can be made that they're the hotter team right now. They beat Milwaukee in 5 games. They won 4. Milwaukee only won 1. They dominated Milwaukee. Not only that, statistically, they're not much worse than the Texas Rangers where it counts. In other words, would it surprise you to know that the team that's being offered on the series prop at plus 130 actually had the most runs scored in the National League? It's not the Phillies, it's the St. Louis Cardinals, right? So the Cardinals actually do have a high-powered offense. Don't be too discouraged by the fact that Texas scored more runs, almost 100 more runs during the regular season than the St. Louis Cardinals, because you need to realize that Texas plays in a league that allows a designated hitter, right? And so when you take that out of the equation and just look at who scored the most runs in their respective leagues, understand that the Cardinals, who have significantly less power than the Texas Rangers, are still a run-producing team, very healthy on-base percentage, very healthy team average, More importantly, they scored the most runs in the National League. Also, pitching, it's actually comparable. People may remember that the Cardinals beat the Phillies with pitching in the playoffs. Chris Carpenter won the pivotal last game. Well, during the season, Cardinal pitchers also delivered. They actually had a lower team ERA than Texas. Now, granted, the National League doesn't have the designated hitter. That's true. The point is simply the two teams are statistically close to each other in terms of the quality of their pitching. Now, there are differences between the teams. The Texas Rangers steal many more bases than the St. Louis Cardinals. As I said earlier, the Cardinals simply don't have the power hitting that the Texas Rangers have. They also are not as good a home team as the Texas Rangers. However, they do have home field advantage, and if you believe the odds makers, they should win game one. At least they're favored to do so. They have their horse, Chris Carpenter, on the mound. Keep in mind, too, Ron Washington, excellent manager. But understand, Tony La Russa has won the World Series with two different teams. One of those teams were the Cardinals. He did so in 2006. And so what does it all mean? It means that tonight, what I'm going to do, I don't like betting on individual games. I like betting on the series prop and then hedging that as the series goes along. So I'm going to take the Cardinals at plus 130. And I'm going to cross my fingers and hope that Chris Carpenter delivers just like he did against the Phillies. And if he continues his mastery in big games, and if the Cardinals go up 1-0, I'm then going to look back at that series prop, and if Texas has dropped to below a minus 130, I'm going to take my profits. If the Cardinals lose the game tonight, and if they then jump to a plus 150 or a plus 160, then I'm going to probably up my bet on the Cardinals simply because these two teams are evenly matched. An argument can be made that the best player on either team is St. Louis Cardinal Albert Pujols. Truly dominant player, clear first ballot Hall of Famer. So I don't believe when you have two evenly matched teams that either team should be a plus 150 or plus 160 underdog. So I'll take my chances if the Cardinals lose on upping the ante on the Cardinals with the expectation that as the series progresses, I can then hedge the bet. My goal is to straddle. It's simply to make a profit by being on both sides of the bet and playing the odds fluctuations as the series progresses. I think it's going to be a great series. I think these teams are evenly matched. I think the plus 130 is a little bit out of whack, especially when the Cardinals are favored to take game one. Let me know what you think. Leave your comments for me here on YouTube and visit us at gamblersadvisory.com. Thanks for watching.